Mr. Knight, I adore Servant. I'm loving season 2 so far. Great work.
Thank you.
One of the things I like most is how it feels like the world is opening up, even though we're still
Mm,
kind of in that claustrophobic home
mm,
with
yes.
with our actors and our characters. So, what is it like approaching season 2 differently in that regard?
Well, in regard to the setting of the show, staying in the house is critical for me, and very exciting for me to do an entire show and never leave a house. But I wanted each season for us to grow what we're defining as the house. And so you'll see in this season, there's a new part of the house that you never saw before that becomes a very important to the house. And hopefully I'm going to add, in my mind, I have two more movements of that for us in the future.
Oh, wonderful. I was actually going to ask about that. So, now you said you had two more movements, and right now we're kind of seeing how Dorothy and Sean and their relationship hold up in the face of everything that they're dealing with, the guilt, and the denial that they're going through.
Yes.
So, how strong or not is this relationship, and where do you, or how do you see them dealing with each of their states of being?
You know what I love about this conceit of the show and why I think it was the first show in forever that I was interested in doing is this aspect of it, that it's a couple that won't have the conversation that they're supposed to have, the very, very hard conversation. They may not survive that conversation, and that's why they're not having it. But they're doing everything else, and they're living this pretend life. And this young woman comes in and stirs up everything in this way and gives them an opportunity to keep pretending. And it's not healthy. And to not have that conversation. And even as we avoid pain, as we avoid uncertainty and unknown, we just spiral and spin. And so it's, as a filmmaker, it's very fun to see this couple. It's poignant, and a couple that loves each other, but won't have this conversation, and what that, all of that pain that's going to happen because of that.
Yeah, definitely. And then on the other hand, you have Leanne, who, when she was first introduced, seemed almost not malevolent, but like you didn't know
Yeah.
what to expect from her. She seemed like they're a little sketchy, right? And now we're
Yes.
seeing a very different side of her, and yet at the same time, she's involved with this really dark element of the cult. So can you talk about sort of like giving you like those little pieces, those little like carrot, dangling the carrot for the audience that we still don't know all about her yet?
Well, I've always thought of the show as two stories: this family that's refusing to mourn, and then the, what shall we call it, the mythology of Leanne on top of it. And it's really fun to see those two aspects, and especially as you're taking it in this long form, to say, oh, it's about this family, and then who is this girl, and then all of the stuff that we start to realize as the show progresses about what her architecture is. And her architecture is very, very important to the show.
Definitely.
I'm jumping around everything as best I
Yeah,
can.
I understand. And we also see, like you said, the house grows, and also the people that are sucked into it, if you will, grow. So we
Mm,
have Julian, and I was really interested in his dynamic with Natalie. Can you talk a little bit
yeah.
about that, kind of like what she brings to him, as opposed, like the faith she might bring, as opposed to the life
Mm.
sucking energy from Dorothy and Sean?
Well, I think Julian is dealing with his own trauma and won't, and he goes to addiction, and he goes to excess, and cynicism and nihilism. And Natalie maybe is that foil where she's talking about the unknown, and believes in energy and movement and kumbaya things, and so they're a beautiful odd couple in that manner. And I think he would aspire to be like Natalie in his heart, and maybe he is. He's just, life circumstance has shut him off.
Right. Well, thank you so much. I love the show, and I cannot wait for everyone to see season 2. Have a great day.
It was fun talking to you. Take care.